Yes, good afternoon, my dear students, and welcome to electronics online classes. Yes, in the previous class, you have started the new topic, that is something about oscillators, and also you have discussed about the what is oscillator and what are the types of oscillator, and also you have studied about what are the applications of your oscillator, and finally you studied about the what is the principle behind the oscillator. And today we go for the what are the conditions, or it is also called as so important, what is called Barkhausen criteria, and how actually can generate the A signals, or how we can generate the oscillations, and also we go for what are the starting conditions, or what is the startup oscillations, or what is the starting condition of oscillators. And today we are going for the lecture number 2. You are going for lecture number 2, and as usual you can regain or refresh your knowledge what you studied in the last class. As I said, it is very interesting and important topic, that is oscillator. And as I said in the 3 way of definition of oscillator. One is very simple. The oscillator, it is an electronic circuit or device. They will generate AC signals, or they will produce the AC signals, and by using the DC source. The oscillator will, it is a circuit or device, they will produce the AC signals by the help of DC signal or DC source. That is in one way of definition, in simple way. Another I said about in oscillator, we are not applying any input, but still you will get the output. It means oscillator is a circuit or device. In oscillator, we are not applying any input, but still you will get the output. It means without applying any input, you will get the output. That is something what we call oscillator. That is another type of definition of oscillator. And finally I said in oscillator, they will convert the DC voltage into the AC voltage. The oscillator will convert the DC voltage into the AC voltage. It means you have studied about 3 types of definition. And basically, yesterday said oscillator is also a type of amplifier. The oscillator, it is also a type of amplifier. But thing is that in oscillator you are applying the positive feedback. That is the difference. Oscillator, it is a basically amplifier with a positive feedback. Oscillator, it is a basically amplifier with a positive feedback. This is also one type of definition, and yesterday I discussed already what is the major difference about oscillator and amplifier. In amplifier, they require the input, but oscillator does not require the input. And in oscillator, we are using positive feedback, but in amplifier, using the negative feedback. And oscillate, the amplifier will reduce the gain, but oscillator will increase the gain. This is you studied in the last class about the difference about amplifier and oscillator, and also you studied about the types of oscillators. In broad, by the waveform, depending upon the waveform, you have done the 2 types of oscillators. One is called sinusoidal oscillator, another called the non-sinusoidal oscillators. Sinusoidal nothing but they will give the output only sine wave. The oscillator, they will give the output only the sine wave. That type of oscillator is nothing but the sinusoidal oscillators. If the oscillator will generate other than sine wave, it may be square wave, it may be rectangular wave, it may be sawtooth wave. That type of oscillator is nothing but non-sinusoidal oscillators. And also you have studied depending on the frequency, also you can classify the oscillator. It may be audio frequency oscillator, it may be radio frequency oscillator. The oscillator, they will produce the lower frequency or audio frequency. That type of oscillator is but audio frequency oscillator, and RF oscillator is but The oscillator they generate the high frequency or radio frequency signal. That type of oscillator nothing but RF oscillator. And depending upon the, as you are according to syllabus, depending upon the feedback network, in feedback which components are used? You have done the 3 types of oscillators. That is in feedback, if you are using LNC components, that is nothing but LC oscillator. And in the feedback, if you are using RLC components, that is nothing but RC oscillator. And in the feedback, if you are using crystal, that is nothing but crystal oscillator. And as usual, you are studying in detail about LC oscillator, RC oscillator, and also studying about crystal oscillator. And LC oscillator that is used for the high frequency generation, and RC oscillator is used for the low frequency generation, and crystal oscillator also used for your high frequency generation. But frequency severity is very more for the crystal oscillator as compared to the LC and RC oscillator. We prefer the crystal oscillator because it is having the more frequency stability. Right up. This much you studied about the types of oscillator, and also where you are using oscillators, especially I said in your communication, it may be radio, it may be TV, or it may be your mobile communication, or it may be satellite communication, or it may be radars, or it may be your computer. Whenever we want the AC signals, or whenever we want high frequency signal, as I said, in some time we want low frequency signal, in some time we want high frequency signal. Everything can be possible, can construct by using your oscillator. Right up. And as in communication, we want high signal, that is carrier the signal, you want to generate the carrier signal, that is by using oscillator. Also in your in receiving section you are using local oscillator. That local oscillator also you can by you are using one of the oscillator, they will also give the some intermediate frequency signal. It means in communication you are using about oscillators to generate the AC signals. This is about the applications of your and yesterday I said in every electron device you are having oscillator, because in every electron signal we want the AC signal. And how will you get the signal? By using the oscillator can generate the AC signals. And I said the oscillator is also called as signal generator. It is sometimes also called as inverter, because as I said the rectifier will convert DC into AC, the rectifier will convert AC to DC, but oscillator convert DC to AC. These are what we have studied about in the last class, and also we studied in the last class about what is the principle behind the oscillator and what is a condition of oscillator. And also you studied in the last class what is the voltage gain for the positive feedback, because in oscillator the most important, keep it in mind, you are using positive feedback. And if you use positive feedback in your oscillator, will get the sustained oscillation. Or the important thing in oscillator is in the positive feedback. And as you know, positive feedback nothing but the input output are in the same phase, or the feedback signal input signal they are in the same phase, and also the feedback signal will increase the input voltage. This is what you studied in the last class. And today go for the what is the startup condition, what is the startup oscillations, or what is the startup, what is the startup condition? Look here, yesterday I said already, in your oscillator we are not applying any input, but still you will get the output, because as you know already in that the positive feedback EF equal to A divided by y minus A beta. Yesterday you have done already about this, you have done this derivation. And here if you put the A beta equal to 1, if you substitute A beta equal to 1, then what happens? You get A by 0. A by 0 nothing but anything by 0 is nothing but infinity. It means here you are not applying any input. You are according to AF nothing but AF equal to yes V naught by Vs, and here the V naught is there but Vs is 0. Anything by 0 is nothing but infinity. It means without any input you will get the output. That is nothing but oscillator. Without any input, still you will get the output. That is nothing but oscillator. And what is the condition of that? The condition is nothing but the A beta equal to 1. If you substitute in the equation A beta nothing but the loop gain equal to 1, then we will get the output without any input. And this is the condition of the oscillator. And actually, it is not correct. According to a conservation laws, without any input, you are not getting any output. Then how we can compensate both the statements? In one time you are saying without any input you will get the output, but practically it is impossible. Without any input you are not getting any output. It means in your oscillator you are having some input. You are having some input. The thing is that because according to the conservation of laws, without any input you are not getting an output, but in oscillator you are saying about without any input you are getting the output. It means as in your amplifier you are applying the external input, but in your oscillator you are not applying any external input. The input will be itself generated by the oscillator. The difference is that in amplifier you are applying the external input, but in oscillator the oscillator itself generate their own input. You follow what I am saying? Oscillator will generate itself its input, but in amplifier you are applying the external input. It means in oscillator you are not applying any external input. And how will you get that input? That input voltage is nothing but the thermal voltage. Some book they are given thermal voltage and some book they are given noise voltage. Some book they are given the thermal voltage, some book they are given noise voltage. It means in oscillator the noise voltage acts for the input. The noise voltage or thermal voltage acts for the input for the oscillator. And what is noise voltage? What is thermal voltage? Especially as we know in your amplifier you are using so many resistances, and in the resistance because of random movement of electrons, because of random movement of electrons and because of temperature, what happens? They will generate some voltage. That voltage is nothing but noise voltage or thermal voltage. Once again repeat, what is thermal voltage or what is noise voltage? The noise voltage, thermal voltage, that is because of the temperature. Thermal nothing but that is because of temperature, and voltage nothing but this is the type of input voltage, and that is also called as noise voltage. The voltage because of your in your amplifier or in oscillator we are having the, because in oscillator is nothing but is a type of amplifier, and also to construct an oscillator we require the amplifier. Without amplifier it is not possible to construct an oscillator, right? And it means in amplifier having so many resistances. In that resistance they are having some electrons, and that electrons they are moving randomly because of thermal energy or because of high temperature. They are electrons are moving randomly. The moving of electrons in the random they will give the noise voltage or they will give the thermal voltage. The movement of electrons, the random movement of electrons in the resistor, they will give the noise voltage, they will give the thermal voltage. It means this voltage is acts for the input for the amplifier. This voltage acts for the input for the amplifier, and as usual, if you are applying any input to the amplifier will amplify this input. This noise voltage you are applying to the amplifier, and this if you are applying the input to noise voltage to the amplifier, What the amplifier will do? Amplifier will amplify the noise voltage. The amplifier will amplify the noise voltage. And this amplified noise voltage will drive the feedback network. The amplified noise voltage will drive the feedback network. It means actually here what happens means, consider your this is your amplifier. This is your amplifier. And as I said, this is the amplifier. And here you are having the feedback network. That is what I am saying in simple feedback model. Here you are applying a noise voltage. Noise voltage as an input, and this noise voltage is amplified, and we get the amplified noise voltage, and this noise voltage is given to the feedback network. It means, and as usual here you are you are giving the feedback signal. This is your EF. It means the amplifier will give you the noise voltage as an input. This noise voltage will amplified by the amplifier, and amplified noise voltage is given to the feedback network, or your amplified noise voltage divided the feedback network. And as usual, the amplifier will give the 180 degree phase shift. Another 180, the phase is given by your feedback network, and total will give the 360 degree phase shift. That is nothing but your positive feedback. It means whenever you on the oscillator, you switch on the circuit, then what happens? The amplifier will, the noise voltage, because of the you are switch on the power supply, then what happens? The thermal noise or the noise voltage acts for the input for the amplifier, and this amplifier amplifies the noise voltage. That noise voltage will drive the feedback network, and as usual the amplifier will give the 180 degree phase shift, and this feedback network will give the 180 phase shift, and total will give the 360 degree phase shift. That is nothing but your positive feedback. It means to generate the oscillations, the amplifier convert into oscillator, we are applying the positive feedback. It means in simple, what is the startup conditions, or what is the startup oscillations means whenever actually as I said in your oscillator you are not applying any input, but it is not practically possible. You are having some input voltage. That input voltage is nothing but noise voltage. That is because of the resistance, the random movement of the electrons in the resistance. They will give the some voltage. That voltage acts for the input for the amplifier. That amplifier will amplify the noise voltage. And the noise voltage you are given to the or your noise voltage is drive the feedback network, and the feedback network will give 180 degree phase shift. Another one it is given by your amplifier, and total will get the 360 degree phase shift or 0 degree phase shift. That is nothing but your positive feedback. And initially actually to the important condition, if you want to start the oscillations, what is the condition? The A beta should be greater than 1. They may ask one more question. What is the conditional startup of oscillations? When the oscillation starts in your oscillator, when the oscillator will start the oscillations, the condition is if the A beta is greater than 1, then only the oscillator will generate the oscillations. In the initially to start the oscillations, the condition is A beta is greater than 1. Initially in the oscillator to start the oscillation, what is the condition? The A beta should be greater than 1. And after some time what happens? Once the oscillator start oscillations, after some time what happens? The A beta decreases and that becomes 1. When the A beta equal to 1, we may get the sustained oscillations or we may get the undamped oscillations. It means to start the oscillations, the important thing, the A beta is greater than 1. And once the oscillation started and gradually what happens? A beta reduces. And whenever the A beta equal to 1, then what happens? We get the sustained oscillations or we get the undamped oscillations. It means this is the important condition to start the oscillations, and this is nothing but we get the sustained oscillations or undamped oscillations. This is the condition to start the oscillations. This is the condition to get the sustained oscillations. These two are important. And you may see here, actually if you take the A beta, if you take the A beta is greater than 1, then you take the condition A beta is greater than 1, then we'll get the what type of oscillation? We'll get the oscillation, they are like that. It means, see here, as usual, 0, B0, T. If your A beta is greater than 1, then what happens? You see the amplitude. Amplitude is increasing. The amplitude is increasing with respect to time. The amplitude is increasing with respect to time. Or you can say the amplitude of the signal, output signal increases. You can say the output signal increases. It means if the A beta is greater than 1, then what type of oscillation you will get? We will get the damped oscillations, because here the amplitude not constant. Amplitude is increasing. With respect to time, the amplitude is increasing. And if you take the A beta less than 1, you take A beta less than 1, then what you will get? We will get them like that. In this case, what happens? 0 and V0. Here, what happens? Opposite of this. Here, the amplitude decreases with respect to time. If you take A beta less than 1, then what happens? The amplitude will be decreases. Or you can say the output voltage will decreases. This is the condition of A beta less than 1. This is the condition of A beta greater than 1. You take A beta equal to 1. This is so important. A beta, you take A beta equal to 1. Then we will get the sustained oscillation. This is we want like that oscillation. We want like that oscillation. Sorry. We want the sustained oscillation. The sustained oscillations is given by the your A beta equal to 1. You see here the amplitude will be constant with respect to time. Here the amplitude increases, here the amplitude decreases, but here the amplitude is constant with respect to time. The condition is that the A beta equal to 1. This is about what is the effect of the A beta on the. If you take A beta greater than 1, what happens? If you take A beta less than 1, what happens? And if you take A beta equal to 1, we will get the sustained oscillations. And actually I said, if you want A beta equal to 1, we may get the sustained oscillation, or we will get the undamped oscillation. And for that, there are some proof for that. And also we know, we go for the, what is the oscillator circuit. The oscillator, what the oscillator having consists of? The oscillator consists of a feedback network and an amplifier. And you go for that, you go for the oscillator, block diagram oscillator. As usual, it is having an amplifier. It is having an amplifier. basic amplifier. The oscillator consists of a basic amplifier and a feedback network and a feedback network. Feedback network. And as usual, you already studied in your feedback amplifiers. Here you are in the output V0 and this is your V0, and here we are applying in here we are applying an input. Actually this input is 0. Actually this input is 0. We are applying an input here. This is nothing but beta equal to yes, sorry, VF. This is VF and VF equal to beta into as we know already. And this is your actually it is shorted, or you can write VS is 0. This is nothing but is open. That is nothing but is open. And here having the VL. It means as I said already, the oscillator circuit, you can write oscillator circuit. It is having an basic amplifier and a feedback network, and as I said here, actually having some input. This input is nothing but your noise voltage. This input is nothing but thermal voltage. Actually, as I said here, you are not applying any input. And another important thing, as I said, the oscillator itself will give the input. That input is because of the feedback network. The feedback network will give the input to the oscillator. The feedback network will give the input to the oscillator. It means you are not applying any here. You are not applying any external input. The feedback network will itself will give the your input voltage. And as usual, we know already about if you know the open loop gain, A is equal to V0 by Vn. The open loop gain we know V0 by Vn, and here if you want we can take V0 equal to A into Vi. Here take here your V0, that V0 equal to A into Vi, and also we know the feedback factor, that is Vf by V0, or I can write Vf equal to beta into beta. And actually you are considering about the positive feedback. You are considering the positive feedback, and here you can write about beta into V0. Vf equal to, you can write beta into, in place of V0 you can write A into Vi. You can write A into Vi. And now consider the positive feedback. Positive feedback. If you consider positive feedback, then what happens in positive feedback? The Vi equal to Vs plus Vf. In positive feedback, as usual, the input voltage and feedback voltage, they are in the same phase, or the feedback voltage increases the input voltage. That's why we got the plus sign here. And as usual, in your oscillator, we are not applying any input voltage. That's why you consider here the Vs is 0. You can consider the Vs is 0. Then you take Vi equal to Vf. You take Vi equal to Vf, or you substitute the Vf value here. What is A referred to? A beta into Vi. The Vf value A beta into Vi. Substitute here. We may get Vi equal to A beta into Vi. Or you can take Vi this side. That becomes A beta equal to Vi by Vi. Or you can write A beta equal to, this is nothing but your the condition of sustained oscillations, or it is called a condition of your oscillations, or condition of undamped oscillations. It means, as usual, the oscillator circuit consists of a basic amplifier and a feedback network. As I said, you are not applying any external input, but input voltage, that is because of the oscillator itself, they will give the input, or the feedback network will give the input. Because as I said, the amplifier or in oscillator, especially in amplifier, you are having some resistances, because of in that resistance you are having some electrons. That electrons are moving randomly because of the high temperature. That moving of electron randomly, they give some voltage. That voltage acts for the input. That voltage is called noise voltage or thermal voltage. That acts for the input for the basic amplifier, and this input will be amplified by the amplifier, and the amplified output which acts for the input for the feedback network, or this amplified output will drive the feedback network. I just said the amplifier will give the 180 phase shift and feedback network. Actually, you want positive feedback. Positive feedback means that equal to the amplifier plus the feedback network. The amplifier will give 180 degree phase shift and another 180 given by your feedback network, and total with the 0 degree on 360 degree. That is nothing but your positive feedback. This is nothing but the oscillatory circuit or block diagram oscillator. Now you can write block diagram of oscillator. Here now we will go for another one important thing, that is about maybe it is very simple, you followed. What is the condition of oscillator? What is the condition of oscillator? Or it is so important, what is called Barkhausen criterion. What is called Barkhausen criterion? It is so important. What is called Barkhausen criterion. What is called Barkhausen criterion? Or what is called Barkhausen criterion? It is so important. This question asked so many times in your annual exam. What is called Barkhausen criterion, or what is the condition of oscillator? Or it is also called as condition of oscillator. If this condition is not satisfied, your amplifier does not work as oscillator. Or if the oscillator can work as oscillator, there has to satisfy this condition. What is that condition? That condition is the word Barkhausen criterion. Actually, Barkhausen, it is a scientist name. He has given the condition. He has given some rules. If you follow that rules, then only your amplifier acts as an amplifier. What is the important first condition? The first condition nothing but the A beta equal to 1. The first important Barkhausen condition nothing but the A beta nothing but the loop gain will be 1. The Barkhausen criteria says that the first condition of oscillator means the A beta nothing but loop gain. As we know, A nothing but open loop gain, beta nothing but feedback factor. The magnitude of A beta equal to 1 is nothing but the condition of Bar-Poisson criteria. Another condition, we want the total phase shift. Total phase shift is equal to 360 degree or 0 degree, or you can say it is called, also called as, you can say about here, right here, making the above. Bar-Poisson criteria. Our condition of oscillator. The first condition, as I said, the A beta is equal to 1. And second condition, the total phase shift is equal to 360 degree or 0 degree, or another way it is also called as or the positive feedback. We want positive feedback. Positive feedback. These are the two important conditions of Bar-Poisson criteria. They will ask in exam, what is Bar-Poisson criteria? Explain the Bar-Poisson criteria. In Bar-Poisson criteria, nothing but you have to verify the two conditions. You have to verify the two rules. The first condition, nothing but A beta equal to 1. If this condition is satisfied, then only your oscillator or amplifier acts as an oscillator. Your amplifier acts as an oscillator. Or if this condition is satisfied, then only you get the sustained oscillation or you get the undamped oscillation. And second condition, in oscillator we want the total phase shift is given by 360 degree or we want positive feedback. It means if these two conditions satisfied, then only your oscillator works start working, or the oscillator generate the oscillations, or oscillator give the output voltage. The condition is that A beta equal to 1 and the total phase shift is equal to 360 degree, or we want the positive feedback. If these two conditions are satisfied, then only your oscillator generate the oscillations or your amplifier acts as an oscillator. These two conditions are nothing but Bar-Poisson criteria. These two conditions are nothing but the Bar-Poisson criteria. This is the important question. So many times this was a 2-mark question. What is the condition Bar-Poisson criteria, or what is called Bar-Poisson criteria? The important thing, the A beta nothing but loop gain equal to 1, or I said about whenever you want sustained oscillations, the condition is A beta equal to 1, and the total phase shift should be 360 degree or 0 degree, or we want the positive feedback. As you know already, the positive feedback is used in your oscillators. Also, we want the condition A beta equal to 1, then only your transistor or amplifier acts as an oscillator. This is about the Bar-Poisson criteria. And finally, go for the so important question for your exam for 5 marks. What is the tank circuit? It is called tank circuit, it is called tune circuit, or it is also called as AC degree. How actually you are generating the signal? How actually you are generating the AC signals, or what is the oscillatory circuit, or what is called oscillatory circuit is called your tank circuit. It is called tank circuit. It is also called as tuned circuit. Tuned circuit. It is also called as oscillatory circuit. It is also called as resonance circuit. These are all the same meaning. What is called tank circuit, what is called tuned circuit, what is called oscillator circuit. We'll go for that. Actually, by the use of tank circuit or by the use of the tuned circuit, we can generate the oscillations. How actually can generate the oscillations, or how we can build the oscillations? That is by the help of this tank circuit or tuned circuit. As remember, tank circuit or tuned circuit is having, what is tank circuit? Nothing but an inductor and a capacitor. They are connected in parallel. C and N. What is tank circuit or what is tuned circuit? If the capacitor and inductor, if they are connected in parallel, that circuit is nothing but the tank circuit. It is nothing but the tuned circuit, is nothing but the oscillatory circuit. Devasimana question. What is tank circuit? What is oscillatory circuit? The tank circuit nothing but capacitor and inductor, they are connected in parallel. Whenever the capacitor and inductor connected in parallel, that circuit nothing but the tank circuit. That circuit nothing but the tuned circuit. That circuit nothing but the oscillatory circuit. This circuit will generate the oscillations. This circuit will generate the oscillations. And before going for the working of your tank circuit, how actually your tank circuit works, or how we can generate the signals by using capacitor and inductor. And as usual, you know about capacitor. The capacitor is nothing but a capacitor. You already studied in basic. Capacitor nothing but the two conducting plates separated by dielectric medium. And important thing, the capacitor stores the energy in terms of electric field. The capacitor stores energy in terms of electric field. In terms of electric field. The most important property of capacitor, it stores the energy in terms of electric field. And also, as usual, the capacitor blocks the DC, travels the AC. This is the importance of capacitor. By the use of capacitor, and as usual, you know about this also you studied in first year, charging and discharging of capacitor. Charging nothing but you are adding the charges to the capacitor. Discharging the nothing but you are eliminating, you are removing the charges from the capacitor. By the use of charging and discharging capacitor, you can generate these signals. Charging nothing but by adding the charges, accumulating the charges on the plate of the capacitor. That is charging. Discharging nothing but removing the charges from the capacitor. That is discharging. And you have studied already in first year, charging and discharging capacitor, it happens exponentially. Charging and discharging capacitor, that happens exponentially. This is the basic idea about the capacitor. And also you use the inductor. You also know about the inductor. The inductor nothing but it is an coil. There is some core. This is nothing but your inductor. Or can take only this. This is your inductor. And as usual, the inductor is a coil. There is some core. And the important property of inductor, it stores the energy. It stores the energy in terms of magnetic field. In terms of magnetic field, this is the importance about the inductor. It means also how your capacitor charges and discharges. Here you can say growth and decay of current. The growth and decay of current, or sometimes you call charging and discharging of a inductor. But the actual current what is growth and decay of current in the inductor. These two important properties are used for to understand about the tank circuit. Now we will go for the tank circuit and how we can generate the AC signals by using the tank circuit. And first you take the DC source. You can DC source and you can take in two-way key. Here you can connect an capacitor and here you can connect an inductor. You can connect an inductor and as usual you are using an inductor. You are using an inductor. This is L, this is C. In the beginning, it may be your P, it may be A, it may be B, or it may be your voltage. Look here, initially, what I said about tank circuit, the capacitor and the inductor, they are connected in the parallel. This is figure number 8, the figure 1, you can write figure 1. And here the important thing, if you are connecting the key to position A, if you connect the two-way key, this is plug key, if you connect the plug key to the A, then what happens? The capacitor will charges. The capacitor will charges. And as usual, you are having some voltage source or you are applying DC voltage. This voltage, this negative of the voltage, they will give the electrons. It means here you are having the electrons and here are having the, or you can say plate A, plate B. Because of the, whenever you are in the capacitor, if you apply the DC source, then what happens? The capacitor charges up to what voltage you are applied. The capacitor charges nothing but the capacitor will accumulate the charges. They will store the charges. And as I said, the negative of the battery, they will supply the electrons to the one of the plate, and remaining plate will be deficiency of electrons. Here more number of electrons, here less number of electrons. It means actually whenever because of this voltage source, the capacitor store the charges up to whatever apply the voltage. And whenever the capacitor store the charges, then what happens? Here in the capacitor, some energy is stored. That energy in terms of electric field. I said in the first step what happens? Right here, first step, the capacitor charges up to the maximum voltage, and also it will store the energy. It stores the energy in terms of electric field. Very simple first step. As I said, the working of two circuit, the capacitor and inductor, they connected in parallel. We are using a two-way key, and if the plug key is connected to the A position, then what happens? The capacitor connected to the DC source, and whenever the capacitor connected to DC source, then what happens? The capacitor charges up to how much you apply the voltage, and whenever the capacitor stores the charges, whenever the capacitor fully charged, what happens? It will store the energy in terms of electric field. Whenever the capacitor fully charged, what happens? It will store the energy in terms of electric field. This is the first step. And second step, what happens? We can remove the this is your capacitor, and this is your inductor. Now what happens? You are connected the key to the B. This is your capacitor, this is your inductor. Now we can remove the DC source, and then what happens? This capacitor and inductor, they are in the closed circuit. You have removed the DC source, because once the capacitor fully charged, you can remove the DC source. Once the capacitor fully charged, you can remove the DC source. Or you can take here if this key is open. If this key is open, then what happens? The capacitor fully charged. Once the capacitor fully charged, as I said, the above having the positive charge, the above plate having the positive charge, and below plate having the negative charge. Or you can take A and B. And if your switch is open, then what happens? These two are not in the closed circuit, because the capacitor is already charged, it is not discharging. If you want, next what you will do, you can write another one diagram. Here you can take another diagram, and here you take the inductor. Now what happens? This is your C and this is your L. Now your P and B. Now what happens? Sorry. Here what happens? Now this is figure number 2. This is figure number 3. Now what happens if the key is closed? Then what happens? Capacitor and inductor are in the closed path. And whenever capacitor and inductor they are closed path, then what happens? The capacitor already fully charged. It will discharge through the inductor, because here the capacitor wants to discharge, but you are not having any path, because always capacitor wants some path to discharge. It may want some path, it may be the inductor, it may be the resistance. Through the resistance or through the inductor, the capacitor discharges. Here you are not having any path, that's why capacitor is not charged, not discharged. Once you are having some closed path, it means the capacitor want to discharge through the inductor, because the capacitor wants to discharge through the inductor, because it is having the closed path. It means whenever the capacitor, now it is totally charged. If this capacitor slowly discharges through the inductor, because as you know already, why the capacitor slowly charges and discharges, or why the inductor is growing current or decaying current slowly, because of the charging and discharging and growth and decay of current, it is exponentially. It is exponentially. You have studied already in detail. It means the capacitor want to discharge through the inductor, and once the capacitor slowly discharges, it means what happens? The capacitor is decreasing the voltage across this capacitor. It means in the charging, the capacitor voltage increases, but in discharging, this voltage across this decreases. And once here what happens? If this capacitor discharges, means what happens? The sum of the electrons, they move from the here, they move like that. They move from the A to B. Because of the discharging of the capacitor, what happens? The electrons in the capacitor, they are moving. Because of discharging of the capacitor, then what happens? Slowly the voltage of the capacitor decreases, and here some of the, because these electrons are moving, these charges are moving, then what? They will create some current in the inductor. Once again I repeat, here initially the capacitor fully charged because of this battery, and if this fully charged capacitor connected to the inductor, because here key is open, the capacitor not discharging, here the key is closed, then what happens? The capacitor wants to discharge through the inductor. Discharging, but you are decreasing the voltage across the capacitor. It means slowly the charges are moving like that. They are moving like A to B. Whenever the charges are moving, then what happens? Because of charges are moving, some current flow through the inductor. Some of the current, or you can say the AC current flow through the inductor, or the current flow through the inductor. And as usual, whenever the current flow through the inductor, what happens? They are having some EMF will be induced because of the change of current. Whenever the change of current flow through the inductor, what happens? The EMF will be induced in the inductor, and as usual, the induced EMF will be oppose the change of current. The induced EMF will oppose the change of current. It means the slowly what happens? The slowly capacitor discharges. The same time what happens? The slowly the inductor is growing or it is charging. The slowly the current in the inductor increases, and whenever the current in the inductor increases slowly, then what happens? The induced EMF will oppose this change of current. The induced EMF will oppose the change of current, and actually because of that reason, the slowly the current increases in the inductor. Whenever the capacitor totally discharges, then what happens? We get the maximum current in the inductor. Whenever the capacitor totally discharges, then what happens? We get the maximum current in the inductor. Or you can say here whatever the electric field stored in the capacitor, that is transferred to the inductor. Whatever the electric field stored in the inductor, that is transferred to the magnetic field. You can say the capacitor will store the energy in the electric field, that is transferred to the magnetic field. In the magnetic field or in the inductor, what happens? The inductor stores the energy in terms of magnetic field. It means already some of the energy stored in the capacitor, that is transferred to the inductor in terms of magnetic field, and that happens because of the discharging of the capacitor. And finally, what happens in the fourth diagram here? If you can say like that. This is nothing but your inductor, and this is nothing but your capacitor. And here what happens? Here it becomes negative. This becomes positive. This is C, this is L. And here, like that. Actually, in the fourth figure, what happens? Figure number 4, what happens? In the figure number 4, what happens? Whenever totally the capacitor discharges, then what happens? Whatever electric will stored in whatever the stored energy in the capacitor will transfer to the inductor. It means the electrical energy is transferred to the magnetic field energy. And once your inductor is fully charged, then what happens? The inductor also wants to collapse, or it also wants to discharge, or the decay of current in the inductor. And once the your as I said here, once the capacitor fully charges, discharges, what happens? Will get the maximum current in the inductor. This maximum current will be actually this maximum current in the inductor will generate a counter EMF. They will generate a counter EMF. They will generate a counter EMF. Or you can say sometimes it is called back EMF. Sometimes it is called back EMF. This back EMF, what it will do? Because this back EMF, then what happens? And also according to Lenz's law, this back EMF will give you the current. Now in the because of this counter EMF back EMF, then what happens? The capacitor is charges with the opposite polarity. The capacitor charges with the opposite polarity. Because here positive and negative, here negative and positive. Why the capacitor charges in the opposite polarity? Because of the counter EMF or because of back EMF? Because of the counter EMF or because back EMF, what happens? Once your inductor is fully charged, or once you are having the maximum current in the inductor, this maximum current will be slowly decreases. If the maximum current will be slowly decreases, then what happens? This current will charge the capacitor in the opposite direction. This current will charge the capacitor in the opposite direction. Why the capacitor charges in the opposite direction? Because of the counter EMF or because of the back EMF. Because of the counter EMF or because back EMF, what happens? The capacitor charges in the opposite direction. Here what happens? Once again, here whenever the inductor is fully charged, we are having the energy intermagnetic field. This inductor is fully discharged, then what happens? This magnetic field energy is transferred to the electric field energy. This magnetic field energy transferred to the electric field energy. Like that, this process continues. Like that, this process continues. Actually, here in overall, what happens? Something but you are transferring the energy from electric field to the magnetic field. Like that, this process continues. The transfer the electric field to the magnetic field or magnetic field to the electric field, and we'll get like that we'll get the oscillations. We'll get the sustained oscillations. Or we'll get if you are not having any inductor and capacitor, you are not having any losses. If you are considering the ideal capacitor, ideal inductor, you will get the sustained oscillation. If you are having because of the inductor having some losses, that is the radiation losses, or having some resistance in the inductor, they are having some resistance losses, and in the capacitor having dielectric losses. That's why you are having the damped oscillation. Like you are having the damped oscillation. It means in overall, actually what happens here nothing but whatever the capacitor store the energy in the electric field, that is transferring the magnetic field in the inductor, and whatever the inductor store the energy in the magnetic field, that is transferred to the electric field. It means overall in the tube circuit or tank circuit, we can transfer the energy in terms of magnetic field to the electric field, electric field to the magnetic field. You can generate the AC signal, or you can generate your positive and negative cycles. Whenever the capacitor charges, discharges, like that, this process continues. This is about in simple way of understanding about the tune circuit or dance circuit. Actually, I can say one thing, as you studied in your physics about simple pendulum. In simple pendulum also the energy will transfer. One is potential energy and another kinetic energy. They will transfer, they will generate the oscillations. In simple pendulum, they will give the oscillation, that is because of potential energy, kinetic energy. Now in electronics also you can generate the oscillation, that is exchange of energy between the electric field and magnetic field. In one sentence, I will once again refresh once again tell you very simple way. The tank circuit nothing but a capacitor and inductor connected in parallel. And in the beginning, you have to charge the capacitor. You are applying the DC source. Because this DC source, what happens? The capacitor fully charged. Once the capacitor fully charged, then what happens? Whatever the voltage here, that voltage will be up to this voltage. Your capacitor is charges. And once the capacitor fully charged, then what happens? You are to connect. You remove this DC source, and if this we are using two-way key. If this key is open, then the capacitor is not charging. It is not discharging because your key is open. Once the key is closed, then what happens? The capacitor now it is fully charged. This capacitor will discharge through the inductor. This capacitor will discharge through the capacitor, and whenever the capacitor discharges through the capacitor, discharge through the inductor, what happens to the inductor? Some current go through the inductor. It means because of the change of current in the inductor, the change of current will induce a EMF. The change of current will induce a EMF in the inductor. That induced EMF will oppose the change of current. Once again repeat. If the capacitor slowly discharges through the inductor, then what happens? We get the some current in the inductor. And if this conductor, because this conductor, because this current, what happens? The electromagnetic field will generate in the inductor. Because of this discharging capacitor, what happens? Some current flow in the inductor. That some current will be creating magnetic field in the inductor. And whenever in the inductor, whenever the current changes, then what happens? The EMF will induce in the inductor. That induced EMF will be oppose the change of current or oppose the growth of current. And once your induced EMF, then what happens? The current is not increasing suddenly. The current increasing slowly because of the induced EMF. And once your capacitor is totally discharged, what happens? Once the capacitor totally discharged, then what happens? In the time you are having the maximum current in the inductor. In that time you are having the maximum current in the inductor. It means you are transferring in the charging. You are stored the energy into electric field. Now this stored energy electric field that transfer to the in the magnetic field. Here the energy stored in the electric field. Now that is transferred to the in the magnetic field. Here in the inductor, they are having the energy in terms of magnetic field. It means in the charging, you have stored the energy in terms of electric field. Now it is totally discharged. Means whatever energy stored in the electric field, that is transferred to in the inductor in terms of magnetic field. Then once your capacitor totally discharged, then what happens? You get the maximum current in the inductor, and also this electric field is transferred to the magnetic field. Then you see the figure number 4. In figure number 4, what happens here? Now in this case, what happens? You are having the maximum current in the inductor. You are having the maximum current in the inductor, and this current or the maximum current in the inductor, what happens? They will generate a counter EMF. They will generate a back EMF. Because this back EMF, what happens? The capacitor once again charges through an opposite direction. The capacitor once again charges to the opposite direction. Now here is positive, negative, here negative and positive. Why the capacitor charges in opposite direction? Because of the back EMF or because of counter EMF. As usual, because of back EMF or because of Lenz's law. Because Lenz's law, what happens? According to Lenz's law, the direction of current will be changes. According to Lenz's law, the direction of current will be changes. And because of that reason, what happens? And here, once again, this your inductor having the energy into magnetic field. that is transferred to the electric field. Once your inductor is totally discharged, then what happens? You can in the time what happens? Your capacitor will fully charged. Like that, this process continuous, and we will get the like that oscillations, or you get like that the undamped oscillation. If you are using the capacitor inductor, they are ideal. It means in overall what happens? You are transferring the energy from electric field to the magnetic field and magnetic field to the electric field. We can generate the A signals, or you can generate the oscillation. This is the board. If you are using ideal inductor or ideal capacitor, we may get the sustained oscillation. If you are having some losses in the inductor, you are having some losses in the capacitor, you are having the damped oscillation. This is about the today's class. In the next class, we go for the what are the types of oscillator, especially you are going for the in detail about the LC oscillators. Thank you. ನೀವು ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಹೋಗಿ ಮೂವತ್ತಾರು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮನೆ ತರ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮನೆ ತರ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಮತ್ತು ಪೋರ್ಷನ್ ಆಗೋದು ಎರಡು ಸತಿ ಮುಂದೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಂತ ವರ್ಷ ಒಬ್ಬರು ಒಂದು ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಒಂದು ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಇರ್ತಾವ, ಪಟ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಾಳೆಗೆ ತಗೋತಿತ್ತು. ನಾಳೆ ನಾಳೆ ಎಷ್ಟಿಗೆ